Welcome to the Wellness Real Estate Podcast, and today we have a special guest who is going to help you generate a higher ROTI, which is return on time invested, on your social media, and also give you some great ideas on how to use AI in your business. Marki Lemons Ryhal is a highly sought-after professional keynote speaker with over 100 classes approved for continuing education by state licensing bodies and taught in 46 states. She is known for her candid, engaging, and relevant approach to teaching real estate professionals. Her new classes on AI and ChatGPT are designed to help real estate professionals stay ahead of the curve and improve their business practices while increasing their ROTI. She also is the host of Drive with NAR, the podcast for the National Association of Realtors. A well-respected educator in the industry, Marki is a real estate cheerleader, passionate about helping real estate professionals use social media to supersize their businesses. She's been featured in Forbes, New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, and Black Enterprise, among countless of other publications, thanks to her expertise. So if you're looking for ways to generate a higher ROTI on your social media, and you want to hear some amazing ways that you can use AI in your real estate business, you will not want to miss this episode. Let's grow. Welcome to the Real Estate Marketing Podcast, where we explore a unique strategy no one is talking about that will enable you to engage more people with authentic conversations about your business more often. And it's called Wellness Real Estate. Not sure what that is or how it can help you as an agent? Well, that's what this podcast is all about. In fact, Wellness Real Estate is growing so rapidly that it is projected to be nearly $870 billion by 2027. I'm Sheila Alston, and I'm your host. I'm also the founder of Healthy Home Media, where I help agents all over the country leverage this new trend in the industry to spark new conversations that will get people to listen to you and notice your brand. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels without any leads or sales to show for it, then stay tuned. I guarantee this podcast is not like any you've heard before. Welcome to the Wellness Real Estate Podcast. I am so excited to have Marki on the show today. I'm happy to have you. I'm interested and excited about the advice that you have for leveraging social media in a way that will bring us a return on our time. And also would love to know your thoughts on AI and ChatGPT to save time and how we can do that more effectively. But maybe before we start that, can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started helping agents all across America?
So thank you very much for having me. I'm elated to be a guest. I am a proud Chicago fifth generation entrepreneur. I've been gainfully self-employed since the tender age of 10. I never thought that I would do anything other than be in my family's restaurant business. However, I went through a lawsuit with my family in 1999 and came into real estate with one purpose in mind. I wanted to feel like a stay-at-home mom, but earn an above average income. And I realized in 2019 that real estate had been my everything when my son graduated from college with a degree in finance, and I didn't have any student loan debt as a result of him attending Howard University. And so when I came into real estate, it was just to feel like a stay-at-home mom and earn an above average income. And when I say feel like a stay-at-home mom, I always wanted to be present. I wanted to be there for every single field trip and to know who my son's friends were, because I feel as if you know your children's friends, you know a lot more about your children. And my mentor, who I am going to a big event for this evening, he told me that I needed to volunteer more in order to volunteer at a higher level, and that if I really wanted people to know me in the industry, I needed to become a licensed pre-licensed instructor and a licensed continuing education instructor. Therefore, I entered the education side of real estate in 2006, and I love it. But I had worked for Chicago Public Schools once I had earned my undergrad degree in 1993. So for me, it was actually returning to where I had gotten my start.
Wow, that's a lot. That's amazing, though. I think that a lot of people do get started in the real estate business because they do want to have that flexibility of time. But then you don't know what to focus on because nobody's telling you that what you have to do. And if you are a newer agent, or even if you have, you know, some business, I know that everybody's doing so much on social media, but it's hard to know which things are going to actually bring you a return, right? And I mean, I was an agent. I just stopped being an agent last year to focus on my membership and magazine and stuff. But I know firsthand how hard it is to get leads and how you can feel like you're working for free forever, and you just don't know what you're focusing on is going to be the one that's going to be bringing in money. So I'd love to know. I know you speak on lots of different topics, but maybe we can talk about the social media component and how you can make sure that you're generating an ROI on your investment of time.
So I said that I was a fifth generation entrepreneur. So I also have a undergrad degree in hospitality management and a master's degree in business administration. And when I went through the bitter lawsuit, we were in the process of launching our barbecue sauce and meat rub because I had went through a program at the time called the Woman Self-Employment Project. Real estate sales, I've always treated it as a business because of the entrepreneurial background, because of the entrepreneurship training, and because of the multiple degrees. Therefore, I've always had, I would say, better success than most agents because I've always had a business plan. And in having that business plan, I've always been clear who my target audience is and identifying who my target audience is. And so the very first year that I sold, I came in, I wasn't a realtor, I was actually a loan originator. And the reason I pivoted from being a loan originator to being a real estate broker is because that whole concept of feeling like a stay-at-home mom, I would have had to originate too many loans
Mhm.
for me to be as visible as I wanted to be. Therefore, I pivoted to using my real estate broker's license so that I could be home more, right? A little
Mhm.
bit more flexibility. And when I made that shift, I closed 70 transactions and did $12 million in volume, my first full-time year selling real estate.
Wow.
Therefore, when I entered into the education side of the business, I came in as a continuing education instructor. Over the years, I am now a global keynote speaker, a six-time international best-selling author, and I am the podcast host of Drive with NAR, the podcast of the National Association of Realtors. Therefore, I was looking at the bottom line. It was
Mhm.
about how can I leverage this skill set in order to earn the most amount of money per hour working the few hours possible. The
Mhm.
problem is I'm a workaholic and I've always been a workaholic. Anything that I do, I love to do it. Therefore, I want to do it more. That's just been my entire life. And coming out of the hospitality business, I've always worked long hours. I saw my mother work long hours. I saw my grandparents work long hours. It's just who I am. It's a part of my DNA, not necessarily everybody else's DNA. And so I treat everything that I do like a business, and I'm always aiming to earn the most amount of money per hour, working the fewest hours, doing what it is that I like to do. Because after earning all those degrees, it afforded me the opportunity to do what I want to do. And my mother's mindset was that I could always get a job. I should do what it is that my heart desires because of the sacrifices in which she had made.
Yeah, you can always get a job and, fulfill someone else's dream, but wouldn't it be better if you filled your own?
Yes.
Yes.
So I've had the opportunity to fulfill my dreams ever since my very first job, which was selling
Wow.
snowballs in front of our barbecue restaurant.
Wow. Not everybody has that story, though. I feel like so many people get into real estate, but then they don't sell $12 million their first year. I mean, how did you even know what to focus on to make that happen?
So I didn't know what to focus on, but I knew that I should have a business plan. So if we were to go back to my very first year,
Mhm.
just in the industry period, I had a classified ad that ran in the back of the Sun Times. I had bus benches. I had billboards. And I got up every single day and I worked a minimum of 8 hours per day. There's an illusion that when you're in the real estate business, and I would say that we as practitioners have contributed to the illusion, we make this job seem easy. And
Mm-hmm.
as a result, everyone wants to do it, but they don't have a clear-cut plan on how to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always had a marketing strategy. I've always been about visibility and having systems and a schedule in place. And when I look at people, even right now with my shift in artificial intelligence and chat GPT, one thing that am clear about, you're not going to outwork me because it's just who I am. So if laziness, being complacent is at the soul of the other person, they're never going to do anything with me. And I laughed to myself the other day because I realized that people underestimate me because I am a mid-aged, overweight, short African American female. And there is in their mind something preconceived about me, but they know nothing about my background.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, once we sit down for a few minutes and we have a conversation, they understand clearly that they should not have underestimated me. And they don't say, "Oh, I underestimated you." I'm looking at their face. So
Mm-hmm.
I know when the shift in their mind occurs about the judgment in which they had casted upon me.
Yeah, they all of a sudden like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Oh,
You
no,
asked
they,
me some great questions. Now I feel like I know what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm taken care of. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And so the background, and this is what I think is kind of interesting. So even having a master's degree, when
Mm-hmm.
it came time for us to launch our barbecue sauce and meat rub, I knew I did not have the skill set. I knew that I had an advanced degree. I knew that I'd already taught on a collegiate level, but I didn't learn about business startup. I was taught in grad school how to go in and take over an existing business. So
Mm-hmm.
what did I do? I enrolled in more classes. And even when I came into real estate, the pre-license course does not teach you how to sell real estate. So
Mm-hmm.
there is this concept that you go get your real estate license and that you're going to be this great salesperson, but there's no sales training.
Right.
And in the pre-license course, there's
Right.
no marketing skills.
Right.
There isn't any any formal training outside of consumer protection, right?
Right.
And I quickly realized that the pre-license, and this is kind of funny. So I never attended pre-license school because I had the degrees. I was just able to sit for the exam. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought that that book was supposed to teach me how to
Mm-hmm.
sell real estate. And I passed the broker's exam the very first time that I took it. So I never went to pre-license school. I passed the broker's exam the first time I took it, and I actually thought I was smart, right? Like, oh, I passed that exam the first time. I didn't even go to
Mm-hmm.
pre-license school until a week or two later, and I realized, oh, Marky, you know nothing.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment of feeling stupid that I told myself I would never feel that way again, which is how we got to amassing 64 real estate related licenses, designations, and certifications because I never wanted to be in an occupation that I felt like I did not know what I was talking about.
Well, right, but so I mean, I do think that what you just said about not having any formal sales training is really key because at the end of the day, you are a salesperson. And so, I think that having that training would benefit so many people because they're just kind of thrown out, and you just are a single, especially if you're a single agent, you're not on a team and you don't have a mentor. And then now you have to be a small business owner. You maybe have never done a business plan before. You don't know what to focus on. And then you're not good at sales and you feel like you're, just how are you supposed to sell homes if you're not good at sales? So, did you end up taking a sales training class too?
I, let me say this. I studied the book.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
studied the book. And when I'm thinking back, I have to laugh because I passed the exam the first time. I then decided I was going to leave Originate Loans and then come and own a brokerage. And within 3 years, I am a pre-licensed instructor and a continuing education instructor teaching others. But that was
Mhm.
just based on the fact that I had good sales and had earned designations and certifications. When did I really learn? I learned once I became a pre-licensed instructor because it became then my responsibility to teach others. And I am a past real estate educator of the year. So within 3 years of me consistently teaching others, I was a Illinois real estate instructor of the year. So I guess all of this says how intentional I am about whatever it is that I think that I'm going to do. But the level of excellence in which I want to do it, and my ultimate goal is just to be the best at what I do. I'm not trying to solve everybody's problems, but whatever it is that I do, I want to be the absolute best at doing it.
Well, so it sounds like if you were to give advice to the agents who work for you or any agents out there, maybe they need to, the first thing they need to do is set that intention to be the best of what it is that they need to do, and then go out and get that education that they feel they need. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I would say yes. That
Yeah.
is definitely, well, let me say this. In order to be the best, I definitely believe that you should be a life learner, which I've actually changed how I say that. I think that in order to be the best based on the current rate of change, you must commit to being a active lifelong learner.
Hmm.
And in doing that, you commit to being the best at whatever, and here's going to be a word that we hear a lot, but we don't see practiced a lot. And whatever your niche or niche is, I'm not trying to be the best commercial real estate broker. I don't even provide commercial information because I don't know anything about commercial real estate. But what I do know about is real estate education, social media and technology, and now AI and ChatGPT.
Hmm.
Therefore, I'm not trying to focus. I don't provide unsolicited, non paid for advice on which I'm not an expert.
Hmm.
And I'm always laser beamed focused on my goals because I did take the time to create a business plan.
Yeah. Well, so then for those agents who are out there who, I mean, because I've had a lot of agents say to me, well, I don't want to niche down. I don't want to, focus on one segment of the population because I want to be able to help everybody. What do you say to those agents?
I would say that they're not paying attention to their surroundings. When you look at the top 1% of realtors in any marketplace, anywhere in the world, they all have a niche.
Hmm.
Every last one of them. When
Hmm.
you say their name, you know what it is they do and where they do it.
Hmm.
And so, because we're not paying true attention to that 1%,
Hmm.
for some reason, we overlook the fact that if I were to mention certain names here in my marketplace, you can tell me their average price point, where they do, who their client is, because they do it so much.
Hmm.
Every top producer has a business plan, whether it is written or not, and they do boring things consistently to whatever their niche is.
True. And it is the consistent doing of the boring things that makes a difference.
100%.
And how do you feel about social media versus like cold calling? Do you think that you could just, post on social media and then not have to reach out to people, or is there a balance? Because I know that lots of people don't like to do the cold calling, but they're open to doing social media.
So I've never cold called ever. I've
Okay.
never door knocked. Well, that's not true. I did door knock when it came to foreclosures and short sales. So I only door knocked for the purpose of foreclosures and short sales. And it was a very short period of time. So
Hmm.
I don't cold call because I don't like cold calling. People
Hmm.
tend to consistently do the things in which they like to do.
Hmm.
Therefore, but I don't believe that you must reach out. And so for me, I treat social media as a lead generation system. It is the one place in the world where people are willing to tell you all their business in real time for free.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to also be consistent in your social media efforts because, in order to build a sustainable real estate business or a business that generates at least six figures per year, we need to add 2,880 contacts to our customer relationship management system.
Mm.
Therefore, I'm consistently on social media, consistently adding a call to action to my post with the purpose of getting people off of social media, having them come to my website, having them to provide me their information in exchange for something of value so that I can then follow up with them. So every other week at minimum, I am going to send an email to my database because I have posted a blog post that has a podcast episode and video embedded into it. I've done that roughly 140 times. And so everything I do, I'm going to do it consistently, right? And so I consistently reach out to people in my database because closed mouths, one, don't get fed. Therefore, I have
Mm-hmm.
to consistently reach out, and secret agents don't get found.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is that you can never act as if you don't know what it is that I do for a living.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's sales and marketing. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot act like you don't know what Marki Lemons Ryhal, the only Marki Lemons, let alone the only Marki Lemons Ryhal in the world, does for a living. And you in my database?
Yeah.
No, because I'm going to consider that's my job to
Mm-hmm.
consistently remind you because it is the sales and marketing aspect. So we have secret agents, we have non consistent agents. We have agents who lack any visibility, agents with no customer relationship management system. I will say the likelihood is they are not experiencing the level of success that they desire because they don't have sales and marketing to support their business as an entrepreneur.
Right. And that's how you attract people to you, right? And you have to put what it is that you're talking about out to people so that they know what you're about. Otherwise, I mean, I tell the members in my community that you can't just, if someone says, "What do you do for a living?" You can't just say, "I'm a realtor," and join all these groups and then never talk about your business ever. Because then people know what, 7 to 10 realtors. And if you're never giving them a reason to tell them why you're different or why they should hire you, then don't be surprised when they hire the agent that sells the most on their street, or they don't call you because you're not giving them any reason to call you. You need to talk about your business. You need to email your list. You need to be posting on social media about what makes you different. Would you agree?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
What's your unique selling proposition as an agent? How are you
Hmm.
differentiating yourself from the masses?
Hmm.
100% I agree.
So, how do you feel about wellness real estate? I know we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but I'm curious to know what you think about that and how, if you, just, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So, you tell me.
When I think about how I live my life, God, self care, family, and work. Sometimes I'm confused and I will put work before essentially everything else. Um, and so I had the opportunity last year to take 94 days of paid time off, three surgeries in 65 days because I was diagnosed with a chronic disease that I've likely had since the age of 10. Most agents, one, do not have the opportunity to implement any form of self care. When I look at wellness, I am consistently thinking self care, but I'm also thinking mental health. So I do have a therapist. I speak to people consistently. I'm a graduate of the Landmark Forum. Um, I I am always happy because I tell people directly how it is that I feel. And so wellness to me, it's hmm, if you have a sound mind and you are taking care of self, you should consistently be in a position to make choices. And those choices include living a better life with the time in which we have here.
Mhm.
So some recent changes, just alone in our house, my husband has been sending me all of these different videos about things that we need to change from a dietary standpoint, from the fact that we should not wear our shoes in our house because of the bacteria and the germs in which we have on the bottom of our shoes, the few foods in which we shouldn't eat, if we should order our food and have it shipped to us from other countries like Canada, due to the lower sugar content in it, to me, all of that, but also living in a harmonious community where you feel supported and loved by your neighbors. And so those are definitely things that we are consistently working on as a family because it's important to us as individuals, but it comes back to having better mental and a physical space in which to be here because we believe that it will add to our longevity while on earth.
Yeah, well, I do think the pandemic helped us all realize how important the healthy home environment is because you're in it most of the time. And, I have an agent who's a member of mine, and she said, green building has been around for many, many years. And I think that green hasn't taken off like I thought it would because green feels outside of yourself. Like it's kind of like a charity. Like, sure, if it's sustainable and good for the planet, I'll do that if I have enough funds this month or something, right? It's a nice to have. But wellness is personal. Wellness is about me and my family. We want to be well, just like you said, self-care. It's about my environment. So she said, this is going to take off because everybody wants to be well. And so if there's strategies and ways to help you do that, and if I can help my clients live healthier, happier lives simply because I've connected them with the right people and I'm having more conversations with them about that, yeah, I'm all about that. So she kind of, I mean, I had thought about it that way, but when she said it that way, I was like, wow, that's really is profound. Wellness is personal. Wellness is going to be the trend. I don't see it dying down anytime because people want to live healthier.
People do want to live healthier. And one thing that I have been preaching recently as I'm getting older, I told people we actually need to save more money in
Mhm,
order to age gracefully. And as we age, a lot of people don't go to the doctor, right? They don't have their blood levels tested. They don't get a mammogram. All of this is wellness for me, right?
mhm,
And what I will tell you, the reason I think we need more money because as I aged, my teeth started to shift. So now I have to sleep with an Invisalign in order to keep my teeth straight. And in order to be able to see, you generally after the age of 40 likely will need a bifocal and or readers, right? And so now my glasses cost substantially more because of the bifocal lens. And then when it comes to your skincare and your facial regimens or your body regimens,
mhm.
there's now a lotion potion that we have to put on before we put on our moisturizer. We now need the vitamin C, the SPF. And so wellness has to be one, it is like being an active lifelong learner, right?
Mhm,
I need to learn what's new. I need to want to know what is new, and then I need to implement it, and it is going to cost money, right?
mhm.
Organic food, better lifestyles, everything about that costs money. So this will be an example. I love how hotels smell. So I sent my husband the hotel collection because I want my house to smell like hotels. So my husband, he says to me, "Oh, Marky, I didn't buy the hotel collection." I said, "Well, why not?" He said, "Well, first, the hotel collection cost $140." He was like, that's some expensive air freshener, right?" And he said, "I'm pretty sure the $140 would not have bothered you." He says, "However, they want me to sign up for a monthly subscription because Marky, it pumps out, it's on a timer, and it consistently pumps out to keep the smell consistent in the
Yeah.
house." He said, "I know you want the house to smell like that. I didn't know what your financial commitment was to keep in the house smelling like that. So
Yeah.
if you want it, you need to order it because that will be a monthly subscription, right?" Wellness, and to me, it was about the feeling that I get every time I walk into a nicer hotel, right?
Mhm.
And I'm because I'm looking around and I'm like, "Oh, this smells great. Like I noticed it, right?
Mhm.
And so wellness, if nothing else, for you to feel great every time you walk into your house because you love the smell, costs more money. It is not
Mhm.
the $30, $40 oil sticks, which I thought was expensive, right? It's more expensive than Glad. He like, no, look, for our house to smell the way you want it to smell, it's gonna cost a lot of money, right? So
Yeah.
but that's wellness. It's a feeling of feeling good every time you grace your front door, because I notice every time I smell that smell when I walk into a hotel, and which hotels don't smell like that.
Yeah, but you gotta look out because maybe there's toxins in that fragrance that they're putting in there, and you gotta be worried if you have any chronic symptoms or anybody has allergies, you don't wanna be pumping in chemicals in your in your
Yes.
home, so
Well, we don't have it, so and
yeah,
I have to do some research
yes.
on it. Besides the fact that it costs a lot of money to even
Mhm,
have the smell that you want to have.
mhm. Well, okay, so if we have listeners here who are just wondering what to focus on their social media, how can they get that return? That I know you have a membership that is about growing your business to six figures in a year. And I'm assuming you have some social media advice for your new members. And what would you say is the most important thing that they should work on to improve their social media engagement and growth?
Actually, the number one thing I think that they should work on is identifying their target audience. And where is their target audience spending the majority of their time willing to tell all their business in real time? Because what I encourage every realtor to do is to strategically reach out to 8 people by 8 a.m. based on what is important to that person. And that does not include selling them a piece of real estate, but because people are telling us all their business, what's important to them in real time, we need to listen, strategically reach out, and add people to our customer relationship management system. And social media is a place that we can do that at no charge.
Right. So you're talking about DMing people that you have seen that you're following, paying attention to what it is that they're talking about and connecting with them online and then giving them a freebie is what you had said.
Yes, giving
So,
them an item of value that will enhance them, but reaching out initially via DM. We are in the season of college announcement days, proms, and
mhm,
graduations.
mhm,
People let you know that this is important to them because they're posting. But not only are they posting, they're posting like 100 100
mhm,
photos and tagging people. That's because it's important to them.
mhm,
Therefore, if I know that your child is graduating and they are getting ready to go and attend, I don't know, uh, well, let me see, USC, University of Southern California, then I need to reach out because you're proud of that moment.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that is something we are not doing as a group of people.
Right. So and not just always reaching out and asking for the referral. You don't want to, that's what's cringy is reaching out and just connecting with people. But what do you say to that secret agent who's making a lot of friends, joining a ton of groups, saying they're working hard, connecting with people, but then they're not having those leads because they're not talking about real estate with people? What do you say to them?
I would say they're failing to be a lead generating machine, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore they're not making the amount of money that they want to make. Realtors who make the amount of money that they want to make are very intentional about lead generation, getting people into their customer relationship management system, and
Mm-hmm.
then essentially loving on them, providing them items of value. That
Mm-hmm.
is lead generation. And
Mm-hmm.
if we're not doing that, or let me say this, either you're doing that or you have the database and you're just simply loving on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are referring you business. But if we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that, the likelihood is we are not having the level of success in which we desire. And we are an industry that is 80/20. Therefore, there's 20% of our industry that is doing 80% of the transactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, they have some type of system in place for consistently following up with people in order to have longevity in this business.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so then how are you, since ChatGPT and AI just came out, are you using that in your social media or how are you using that?
I'm using ChatGPT in order to automate redundant tasks or reduce the amount of time that it takes to complete those redundant tasks. Therefore, all of my messaging, assistance with my sales and marketing, ChatGPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. I believe that in the world of real estate, actually, I believe for any entrepreneur, ChatGPT stands for the fact that we all have a productive, electrifying trained assistant, which has passed the bar exam. It has a medical license at this point, and at the end of the day, as long as we have internet connectivity, it is going to assist us in our daily tasks. And so I'm using it in every aspect of my business. One of the things is we have authored a book that was 100% created with artificial intelligence, from using Mid-Journey to create the cover artwork to all of the prompts in the book were created via AI. That journal was #1 in journal releases the week that it came out on Amazon.
Wow.
So we're using it to create non-dues and passive income, but more importantly for our systems and any tasks that we have to do consistently. So for a social media standpoint, you can have it to write your script for your videos. I have a tool called Descript that has my deep fake voice and acts in my voice likeness. And then a platform called Synthesia that I have a lookalike digital human avatar. So all of these are AI tools. I don't ever
Mhm.
have to talk again. I can outsource the full audio production and video creation of my podcast and all of my videos.
Wow, what is the tool you said that makes a avatar of you? What's that called?
The tool that makes a avatar of you in your likeness is called Synthesia, synthesia.com. So I have a deep fake is what you'll often hear like in a Law and Order or TV. Anytime a deep fake is either of your voice or
Mhm,
of your voice and visual likeness, it
mhm.
looks and it sounds like you, and it can pass as you. That is the society that we live in. I even have multiple digital human avatars of myself. So now when an association hires me and I send them a video, I am sending them Marki D, the digital human avatar of Marki Lemons Ryhal. And she looks like me, she sounds like me, but I don't want you to believe she is me.
Yeah. Does she have a little cartoon effect a little bit, or does she completely look yeah.
No, she does have a cartoon effect. She looks like Marky as a AI robot.
Yeah, but that is kinda cool because then you could just, you have you at least you have you on your face out there.
Yes.
And it helps, like if you had a VA that wanted to create some stuff, they could use that to create some stuff so that you're not feeling like you constantly have to create stuff, but at least your face is out there. That's
Well,
really cool.
when we think about AI, I want you to think that Zoom has AI, Grammarly is an AI tool, Otter that does my audio to text transcription is AI. And these are tools I started using Grammarly in
Mhm,
2017. It is
mhm,
an AI tool. Most of us have engaged and or used AI in our businesses, whether we know it or not.
mhm. Oh, for sure. But you can easily use ChatGPT, like you said, just to create some scripts, create some social media posts. I know that the more specific you are, the better it is. And you can always, at least it just sparks your imagination and kind of gets you started. I think sometimes that's the hardest for people to go, what am I going to write about? So you could at least just type in there, what should I talk about as a real estate agent on my social media? And give me 10 ideas. And it would give you 10 ideas
Yes.
that you could
So
personalize.
today I had 171, no, was it 171? I think it was about 171. Oh, real estate educators from real estate associations on a webinar where I was teaching them about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence and how they need to leverage it, one, to stand out as an ed director, but also how do they help their instructors with development. And one of the #1 things they said that they were having issues with was creating titles for their courses. So we
Mhm,
created titles for courses.
mhm. Well, yeah, because you can ask ChatGPT to come up with some ideas. And I do think that, sometimes it's pretty generic, but if you're specific enough with your questions, then you'll get something specific back that you might like. And you can always change it a little bit, but at least it's coming up with some ideas for you, which I
Out
think is great.
Well, yeah, and what I do because I'm working on being a prompt engineer, and my latest title is a chief event prompt engineer. I am very specific in regards to what I'm asking it, and I'm providing it with resources so that it can give me exactly what I want back. So if I want a title to a course, I already know what some of that subject matter is, how many words I want it to be, and I am telling it to do so, especially in ChatGPT 4, and it will go in. If I gave it 12 words and I want a 8-word title that needs to have this filling, and it gives it back to me. So I am very specific in what I'm asking it a lot of the time, and I'm giving it sources in order to render me back great information.
Yeah, and it's true. You can say, I want it to be casual. I want it to be more professional tone. I want it to be like a hook for readers. You can be specific and ask it things like that, which I think is pretty awesome. And then it just saves you so much time. Like you said, it's basically like your own personal assistant, which I know realtors, especially if they don't have lots of leads coming in, they will say they don't have enough money to do this and that. But with ChatGPT, you'd have a free assistant.
Yes, you can. A friendly, a electrifying, a productive trained assistant that works 24/7, 365 days a year, and it does not talk back. Well, yes, it does. However, you can prompt it and change its tone.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I just want to recap. I feel like we talked about so many different things, but if there's agents out there and they're wanting to get some more return on their time on social media, what I heard you say is target, find your niche, find out what your differentiator is, talk about that on your social media and in your email, be utilizing your customer list in email and provide them value. And then also use your new assistant with ChatGPT to be able to help you create content.
Yes, that was perfect. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. How can people find out more about you if they want to learn? I know you have podcasts and you have a great website.
So if they spell my name correctly, because I am the only Marki Lemons in the world, they will find me, or they can come to my website, markilemons.com, spelled MarkiLemons.
Great. And they can actually catch you at the NAR convention you were talking about?
Oh yes, I this is my Jordan year. It is my 30th year in education, my 20th year as a Realtor member, and my 10th time being a speaker at NAR Next, which was formerly the Realtor Conference and Expo.
Well, I'm going to be there too, so I'm excited. I'm going to have to find you so we can personally meet. Thank you,
Yes,
Marki. It was such a pleasure.
thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Marki Lemons Ryhal. Just to recap, because we covered so much in our conversation, if you want to increase your ROTI, which is your return on time invested, here are the most important things you'll need to do. Number 1, commit to being an active, lifelong learner. Number 2, identify your target audience. Number 3, commit to being the best at your niche. Number 4, be laser beam focused on what your key differentiator is. Number 5, treat social media as a lead generating system. Number 6, be consistent in your social media efforts. Number 7, reach out to at least 8 people by 8 a.m. every day. Number 8, consistently add contacts to your customer management system by having a valuable lead magnet so that you can follow up with them. Number 9, reach out to your email list at least one time a week and provide value. And then number 10, lastly, utilize AI tools and technologies like ChatGPT as your very own personal assistant that can help you write scripts for your videos. And I don't know about you, I'm going to check out synthesia.io that does your visual likeness on your videos. Thanks to Marki for reminding us that it's our job to consistently let people know about our unique selling proposition. If you want to learn more about Marki, there are many ways you can do that. Check out Drive with NAR podcast and go to her website, which is www.markilemons.com. That's MarkiLemons.com. Thanks. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something new that will inspire you to think about your branding and how you can market yourself a little differently. If you enjoyed this episode, then you're going to love what I have for you because you don't need to wait to go get extra certifications or to grow and expand your network to get started attracting those new leads right now. You can simply begin by talking about wellness real estate trends and what you've learned on this podcast with others. I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff that no one has heard about, and I have all the tools that can make it even easier for you. Wellness Real Estate Magazine is a brand new wellness lifestyle magazine, and it's the only magazine that brings health and home together. We educate readers on industry trends and how to create a healthier home environment, written by industry experts around the country. And we have 3 covers to choose from: Wellness RE, Healthy Home, and Wellness at Home, so you can easily find one that aligns with your unique brand and messaging. These magazines are the perfect done-for-you tools that help you not only stay top of mind, but they educate and engage your audience, which positions you as an industry expert. Differentiate yourself and grow your brand the easy way. Learn more at healthyhomemedia.com.